Now, these are the 10 biggest lies you've been told about South Korea. And today I'm going to be talking about that in KPC Live, Weekend Live. As usual, welcome everybody. Please let me know where y'all are watching from because today's going to be a very juicy one. I'm going to be debunking all these ridiculous myths about South Korea people are talking about on the internet. And as a person that has been living here for more than 20 plus years, I feel like I have some expertise in talking about this subject. So hello everybody, let me know where y'all are watching from. First off, we have Ryan from Singapore, hello, and Michelle, hello, long time no see, yes. So I don't know if you guys like the title, but here we go. We are going to be talking about the 10 biggest lies about South Korea. It's a very juicy topic, right? Love the thumbnail. Yes, I will be debunking it fully. So people watching from Dallas, Texas, Tina, hello from Turkey, David, hello David from San Diego, California, Richmond, Virginia, Mary from Ireland, AKY from Arizona. A lot of US folks today. This is very Europe friendly time. But I'm very surprised, but glad to have y'all in the weekend live stream as usual. Yes, currently here it's 1:30 a.m. in Seoul, South Korea, and very excited because it's going to be a very compact, strong live stream today. We're gonna go one by one, counting from top to bottom. No, bottom to top. And anyways, it doesn't matter. Top 10 biggest lies you've been told about Seoul, South Korea. Not Seoul, South Korea in general. Connecticut, Illinois, Singapore, Nova Scotia, Canada, UK, 4:33 p.m. Happy Sunday. Hello. Okay, let's just go straight on in. I hope a lot of people join today. We already are at 70 people. Please don't forget to put that like button up and notification bells on. Subscribe button clicked for you to get all these weekend live streams with me. So if you want to chat real time, subscribe. Okay. Yes, let's go straight on in. So I just want to ask you guys in the chat, what are some Korean myths about Korea you've heard about? Like stereotypes, images, questions, anything like that. So beyond the content I have prepared today, which I have a list of 10 things I want to share with you guys, you can always butt in and ask me in the chat about this kind of things or these kind of myths and whatsoever. Okay, so yeah, let's go straight on in. So I have just this very big ick about this certain topic. So going on with number one, the biggest lie you're told about Korea is about the concept of Chong. Everybody out there, if they're interested in Korea, if you're a foreigner and you've been mildly interested about Korea and you've done your research, you've been on Google, you've been asking your friends, you've done some cultural study and all that, you will come across the concept of Chong. And Chong, I mean, for the people who don't know what Chong is, let me explain what it is, okay? So, Chong is a Korean word that describes a complex feeling of fondness, caring, attachment, and closeness. There's a little bit of like, we're all a bit of the human race where we should love each other, and it usually goes among like homogenous terms because like before like the Westerners came to our peninsula and all that, we were all just like Korean people all together. So we're like, oh, we need to look after each other, we're all neighbors, like we're all one ethnicity, let's just just have some love, spread some love between each other. But nowadays, because it's an international society, of course that concept of Chong just transcends ethnicities and cultures and all that. So whoever enters Korea, we could apply that big concept of Chong too. So it's like having an emotional, attachment to somebody that's a stranger, that it's not family or anybody, it's not even a friend, but you just want to share, you just want to show some love and stuff. So it's a very unique Korean concept of a word. I mean, it's not only just like very warm and bubbly and just heartwarming and all that. It also derives from a sense of like, sharing the ups and downs, like the sorrow and sadness of our nation's history and all that. We've been invaded for a lot of times. We've gone through the Korean War. We're like a separated nation and all that. So it also has that kind of like sadness inside. So first of all, it's not like all a fluffy, very heartwarming feeling. It's like a mixture of everything. It's like bibimbap, okay? So first of all, I'm not denying the context and the concept of Chong. It does exist. It is here somewhere in our culture, in our history. It is a thing that actually has existed for a while. But the myth I want to bust is that actually it's just very, very overused and exaggerated on the internet and when it's being taught to foreigners. And that usually creates like a discrepancy on what they expect and what they get in Korea, actually. So that's what I want to talk about. So, like, many foreigners try to romanticize Chong as this like very deep emotional bond, and like, oh, they've seen these TikTok videos where these harmonies or grandmas gave them cookies or like an extra bit of food, or like they've helped them out with like maps and all the navigating and all that. Yeah, that is Chong. Of course, that is Chong. But then, in modern Korea, like, times have shifted where, first of all, you go back to the cultural setting where I told you about, like, it's, like, usually supposed to be a homogenous feeling, but now it's expanded over to, like, other foreigners and ethnicities and all that, right? But nowadays, I would say the concept of Chong, even amongst Koreans, even between us, Korean to Korean, it has dissolved and diluted and watered down a lot, because I have to just, I have to just say that I haven't felt the concept of Chong living in Korea for the past, I don't know when to date, but like at least let's say the past month or at least months. Because the thing is, you don't really get to interact a lot with strangers in the first place. The most interaction you'll get with a stranger is probably at like a supermarket or a restaurant with like the waitress or like the cashier. That's about it. Like, we don't really talk to strangers. And in order for Chong to apply, you first have to have interaction with a stranger, right? A person you don't know, or a neighbor. But like with our current structure of living in apartments and all that, we're all just very isolated. We don't even talk with our neighbors. I don't even say hi to my neighbor. I mean, maybe I might be an extreme case, but I know a lot of people that just are in the elevator and they don't say hi or anything. Yeah, we don't even know who's living next to us. So yeah, all of that combined with like the hard economy, and like you've all heard about like this is real actually, the competition, the individualistic nature and all that. It's all very changing, and I just wanted to give you guys a warning that, you might have done a lot of studying about like Korean culture, and you might have seen all these like cultural internet text about, oh, Korean people have this unique feeling called Chong, and you're probably gonna feel it, and someone's gonna give you a choco pie in the metro, and they're gonna, welcome them into your house and give you a warm bowl of rice with some seaweed soup, and gonna be so friendly to you as a foreigner. No, I'm gonna shatter your expectations. Of course, people do have that mindset. It's inside of them. It's either they're shy, it's either that they lack interaction. Like, initially you need interaction for the equation to actually occur, or it's just like everybody's just too busy, competitive, individualistic. So the mix of all of these lead to the disappearance of Chong. And that's what I feel as a local Korean and native Korean over here. So whenever I see a lot of people saying, Korea is the nation where you will feel Chong, I kind of get like a little bit of a blush, a little bit of a secondhand embarrassment over there, because like as a Korean myself, I haven't felt that feeling for a long time. Yeah, so I'm not trying to downplay or like diss my own country, saying like, oh, that sentiment is like totally gone It's not like that. It exists. As I said, it's a part of our culture. You will experience it here and there. And quite ironically, I would say that as a foreigner or a tourist or a traveler, you might have the better chances of witnessing an experience of Chong more than a Korean to each other, because yeah, it's just absent between Korean people nowadays. But as like a foreigner or traveler, Korean people are like, at least they have the mentality of like, oh, I want to make my country proud. I want to paint my country in like a nice and very lovely place. So let me activate that good old Chong and then like show it to you, to the foreigners over here, and like let me be patriotic and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the myth over there. So don't expect everybody to be like super friendly and sharing and all that. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out as the first thing, like, because I've seen so many videos. I really appreciate that. I don't want to like diss those content creators that are always saying like, oh, I had this episode of like Korean Chong and all that. It's just very heartwarming and all that. But at the same time, when I look at it and the comments, they're like, oh, Korean people are like, so nice. And some people are saying, oh, that wasn't how reality was and all that. They all are valid talks and all that. But then it might be misleading in a way when you're over exaggerating or over romanticizing the concept of Chong, when we're all living in a modern society where everyone's just struggling to live through their own daily lives. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to put out. Let me read some comments before we get into the second one. Before we go on, hit that like button. And YM, a Korean comment over here. Let's see. 수도권 벗어나면 꽤 친근한 분위기 많긴 한데 대부분이 수도권 관광만 하고 돌아와서. That is a valid point. So let me translate that. So a Korean viewer right now pointed out that if you go outside the boundaries of Seoul, or maybe like into the rural areas or other cities that are a little bit remote, you will definitely have a higher chance of feeling that Chong, because those places are a little bit more like community, like less population. It's not like everybody's like super busy. They care about each other. They know who's in the neighborhood. If there's a newcomer, they welcome the person, because like there's a lot of attention in the first place. So it's like a better environment to activate that Chong, right? But most of the tourists come to Seoul, right? So, and then they just experience Seoul for 2 or 3 days, and they're gonna leave. So, as I said, Chong definitely does exist, and you'll see higher chances of it in the countryside. But even in the countryside nowadays, I don't know. Yeah, it's a 50-50 for me, even on that case. Hello, Stevie Gold from SFO. Okay, that all the public look like people from dramas and movies. Okay, that's a great stereotype. Let's actually get into that in the latter part of this stream. Michelle, I'll be in Seoul next week, and David is correct. Nobody will talk to you, and they'll never even hold the door or get out of your way. Not rude, it's the hustle and bustle. That's what I'm telling you. So I just don't want people to get the wrong idea, like on the internet and on K-dramas and all that. They're seeing like, oh my god, like Korea is such a heartwarming country with the concept of Chong. Oh, maybe I'm gonna feel this like human interaction. When they come, it's like leaving doors swinging in your face and all that. So don't just we're all the same people. We have our own manners and like environments and etiquettes and all that. So some might apply, some might not, and all that. So yeah. Just like in Norway, only in small communities now. I guess you have a similar concept of Chong. In every other country, I feel like there might be, the closest concept of Chong translated that where I can understand that I've learned from my viewers was the concept of American Southern hospitality. That's the feel that was the closest translation to me when I was talking about the concept of Chong. And I don't know if that still exists in the southern parts of the United States as well. Yeah. It's like a cultural concept of a deep connection. Yes, it is indeed like a historical and deep kind of underlying sentiment in Korea. So I don't want to deny its existence again, but right now it's going to be very hard to spot in real reality. Yes. Yes. Chong is similar to the kampong spirit in Singapore. I do not know about that, but that's a very interesting one. So if you were curious about Singaporean culture, go check it out on Google. Yes. I had the most lovely time when I was there last year. I mean, not terribly warm and fuzzy, but everyone was so nice and friendly. Exactly. So if you like just ask a person like, oh, could you help me with this? Or if you're struggling with someone, some people are just going to approach you and like give you help, and they'll be warm and friendly and all that. They're not going to be like super cold and like, no, they're not going to be like that. And most of the people, as I told you, they're just in average very, very friendly to foreigners in general. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit of the Chung sentiment we have, but at the end of the day, I really want to I really want to experience that Chong in the old days when I was like in my elementary school years, when I was like 10, 11. I grew up in Busan and I was in my neighborhood. I used to go to elementary school, and when I felt Chong was like, my friend's mom would invite me over to my friend's house, and she would make me some like home cooked dinner and all that, and that was just a heartwarming feeling. And I would go to like the Munbangu is like a stationery store right in front of the school. It's like very small, and kids would used to go there, like get like 10-cent toys and like candies and all that. And then the stationery store ajashi, the store owner, he would like look at us and like in a cute eye, and of course he's running a business, but he would give us like a freebie or an extra candy or like stuff like that. If we go to like these street stalls like tteokbokki, odeng ajumas, they would be like, oh, you just have one more serving and all that kind of stuff, that. And that just didn't apply just because I'm a kid. Like, even if I was with my mom or my grandma, or it applied amongst adults as well. Like, if back then, like, people nowadays, I don't know if this still exists, but when someone moves into a new house, the neighbor, that person usually gives out rice cakes to the neighbors and all that. But nowadays, I don't even know if people actually still do it. I feel like for like buildings that are small, they would do it, but like for big apartments, maybe they would do it to like their neighbor right next door, and that's about it, or like above and beneath, and that's about it. But back then, it would be like a whole festival. If like someone's new in town, someone's new in the complex, and everybody would like invite them over to like this one room. The person, there's like usually the apartment president, and then that person would like invite that person to everybody else, and then we would all share some food and like hear stories and all that. The community aspect, the sharing aspect was there. But then ever since like I don't know, ever since like the late 2010s and stuff, I feel like that has been absent. Yeah, it's just that people have become so busy and all that. So yes. Wow, that sounds like a paradise. Well, we used to have that, and it still exists in the countryside, as YM pointed out. Although, just like Chong, because all of us live in apartments now, we don't really show the kampong spirit as much. Interesting. Maybe it's because of the environmental change. I bet there are a lot of aspects and factors that count to this change, but it's a sad truth. It's a sad reality. Just wanted to point it out. Even social media came into play. Yes, that's true as well. That is very, very true. So, okay, let's go on to the second myth I want to debunk. This is a lie. This is definitely a lie. This is a very generic one. So, not all Korean guys and girls are like the characters in K-dramas, being romanticist, good looking, and all that. And especially for guys, not all guys are also at the same time. There's a dual aspect here. They're at the same time, they're not K-drama actors or people like that, but at the same time, they're not toxic players and Hongdae boys. Yeah, we're all just normal people. Like, I don't know why social media just prints depicts Korean guys as either it's like hot or cold. It's black and white. It's like you're either a K-drama prince or you're either a Hongdae fuckboy. It's not like that. We're just human beings, and like when Korean people are depicted on social media, especially guys. I'm speaking from a guy's perspective because I'm a guy. Like nowadays, it's like more. I think the tides are like the balance is kind of shifted towards like, oh, they're toxic. In the old days, when people didn't have that much exposure to Korea and the only source they had was K-dramas, they had that fantasy of like, oh, Korean guys are so romantic, they're so like love bombing to their partners, and like they're so, their manners are top notch, they're so fashionable and all that. I would say 30% of that is pretty true. I don't want to deny that as well. Like, dramas are based on reality as well. There's a lot of fantasy in it. There's a lot of fantasy and a lot of bubble in it, but still it is based on reality at the same time. But nowadays, because people are visiting Korea, especially Hongdae, Itaewon, Gangnam, and they're going to clubs trying to find their K-drama prince, but then they get confronted by a Tinder F-boy and a Hongdae boy that's like, oh, do you live alone? Do you want to go see my cat? Stuff like that. And do you want to ramen 먹으러 갈래? And then they go, and then they get like a sexual harassment, sexual assault kind of case, and that goes viral on Tinder. No, what do you call it? TikTok. That just gets generalized, and everybody's like, oh, Korean guys are all these toxic guys. They always ghost. They're so like, they're cheaters. They don't commit. They're like babies. They're so obsessed with you. Insecure. All these bad traits. And it seems like we're the worst people in the whole world. And I'm so frustrated about that. The thumbnail exactly just describes my sentiment about this. So, bottom line, as I said, while we are not K-drama actors, we know that we're not toxic people at the same time. We're just the same. And as a patriotic person, as a person that's proud of my own ethnicity, I would have to actually give points. If you were to compare men with other men, like Korean men with other men in the world, then I would say Korean men has their pros too, as being fashionable, well groomed, also very well mannered in some senses. They try to take care. They still have that kind of mentality of trying to take care of the women, the female. Stuff like that. So you will see subtle manners that just very that touch you in like very subtle ways. Like, we are trained, we're educated in some sense, like, try to be as much as responsive as you can in terms of communication, texting. When you're walking on the road, put your woman on the inner side so that she doesn't get hit by a car or anything. Stuff like, put your hand above when she's like trying to enter the car. Try to feed, like give her some food, cut the steak for her and all that. So put her into the inner seat on the cushion side of that. So that's all education, and that's all like, maybe it might be social framing and pressure from K-dramas and all that. But still, like, if you think about it on the women's side, it is an advantage, right? It is a pro. So, yeah, Korean guys have their own pros. There might be cons at the same time. But still, like, we're normal human beings at the end. So don't expect like a 100 or a 0 when you come to Korea. Just expect a 50. So not everybody's going to be attractive, handsome, fashionable, well-groomed, skincare, like all that. Not everybody's going to be like, oh, Tinder, I want a one night with you, like all that. No, it's not like that. Like, there are just decent people, just normal human beings here. Yeah. As small as a country we might be, we have 50 million of a population. If you split that into half, it's like 25 million people. So not all of them are going to be the fitting the stereotypes, right? So I know like you guys, like people that are watching my channel, they're probably intellectuals and more on the mature side. They know how reality is, but then sometimes there are naive people, like people in their early, 20s or maybe in their teens that enter Korea through channels like K-pop or K-dramas, and they get the wrong idea. They come on exchange student activities. They come here and they're like so excited. They go to Hongdae party. I'm gonna meet my oppa here, and then they get like Hongdae F-boyed, and then it just tarnishes their whole image and all that. So yeah, that kind of stuff. So of course you gotta be careful. Because the term Hongdae F-boy is so notorious nowadays, the actual image of Hongdae is like kind of going down at the same time. It is a fact. The Hongdae F-boy term exists for a reason, because there's a lot of big data over there, right? And there are like regulars that would be probably doing those like very questionable behavior towards foreigners. So yeah, it is a reality that we can't deny, but normal people that are just going to work, that are just going to school, that just are on the metro and just living their lives, they probably don't even visit Hongdae once a year or something. Yeah. So that's that. Okay, let's read some comments before we go on to number 3. Probably intellectuals, yes. Mature and intellectuals, you'll feel complimented. Yes, you guys are mature and intellectuals. And I would expect that from you if you've been watching this channel for a while, because I'm one of the most realist Korean people out there that don't have that much of a language barrier that can actually talk about these in-depth, like nuanced, subtle cultural differences. Whereas other people are always making, I mean, no shade on them, but like, they're always trying to make very one-sided point of view contents. That kind of gives me the ick. Yes. 홍대 예전엔 예술가들의 거리였는데, yes, in the old days, Hongdae used to be an artistic street. Now it still is. There's a lot of like buskers, and Hongdae, the Hongik University itself is well known for like its art school and stuff. So there used to be a lot of like art studios or like underground clubs, like indie bands and all that. It used to be the street of culture. It still is, but nowadays it's like, yeah. Yesterday I was actually at Hongdae. No, was I? Like the other day I was at Hongdae, and I saw so many foreigners. That's a good thing. But yeah, the essence of it has kind of changed. Yes, Hongdae is kind of corny now. yeah. Yes. Let's see. Romantic drama is there to sell a fantasy. Yes. Men will be men, and there's a whole spectrum of good to bad anywhere in the world. Thank you for saying that. I don't want to go to Gangnam either. Yes. K-dramas are shows actors make believe. Come on now. Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to say, not all Korean guys are K-drama romanticists nor toxic players at the same time. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Oh, this drink is so good. 0. It is not a myth that most Koreans nowadays are deeply addicted to zero drinks. That is not a myth. A lot of people prefer zero soda or zero Coke or zero cider or whatever. If you go to the convenience store, you'll see 1+1 deals and everything about like 0, 0, 0, 0. Yes. Okay, so the next one is, okay. So this one is for the newbies, okay? Koreans eat dogs. Bow wow. Wow. Woo. That dog. Yeah, Koreans eat dogs. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's debunk this myth, maybe. Okay. Dog meat consumption is real. It exists. There are dog farms with harsh conditions and environments right now, mostly run by old people. It's just simply not mainstream. It's not mainstream. David, are you barking? Help. Yes, I barked. It is just not mainstream. As for a fact, Korea is one of the most dog loving nations in the world. Not dog meat, okay? Dog loving. As companions, more than 1/4 of the whole Korean population owns a dog. Right now, statistically, more than 10 million dogs exist as pets. So that's like no, like more than that exists. So it's a crazy amount, and they're mostly like small, cute little dogs, like poodles or whatever. You'll see them all like going around. There are golden retrievers and all that, but mostly small dogs because of our apartments. But whenever I hear these reports, still very ignorant about like Koreans loving their dog meat and all that, I don't even think it's racist anymore. I think it's just like ignorant. Okay, racist is the equivalent of ignorant, so yeah, that could go on together. But like in the old days, even like that was like more than a decade ago. But like in the UK, the most stressful thing ever for a Korean back then, if you were a male, was we were all fans of Park Ji-sung. He was a legendary Manchester United player in the EPL, the English Premier League. He was a very good midfielder. He won the treble and all that. But anyways, bottom line, he was very good. He was very committed to the team, and he was like a very sacrificial player. Everybody applauded him. But I know it was like kind of sarcastic and kind of witty in their dry humor kind of way in the English terms. But his chant, his like cheering song, like each player has their own like motto and cheering song, right? Jisung Park's song back then was about eating dogs. Like I don't exactly remember the line, but it was something along the lines like, "Oh, even though you might eat dog, you're such a good player," and stuff like that. Bros, like, why do you have to put that line for a player that's playing so hard for you? Okay, leave aside all the wit and all that. I wouldn't say it's like offensive. Maybe it is to like very sensitive people. Even back then, like Korean people were like, okay, like yeah, we do eat dog and it's part of our culture, and you know a lot of people know Korea about it because like it's the exact polar opposite in the UK when like the UK is like the country of gentlemen and dogs and all that, right? So, yeah, like it was an expected response, but still, like it was we were kind of butthurt. We were kind of eternally traumatized by that chant. It's called the Kegogi song, yes, dog meat song. So after that, I think like, you know, in parts of the world, still like, you know, maybe in the U.S. or maybe in Southern America or maybe in India or whatever, in Europe, some people still think we're like barbarians, like ripping apart dog ribs and like saucing them and like devouring them and like yeah, beating them up with whiplashes and all that. No. So yeah, this is the stressful, frustrating thing I just wanted to debunk. As a matter of fact, most recently, the government policies are moving towards just banning the trade of dog meat, the consumption of dog meat entirely, because the national consensus now among the people and the government is that we no longer eat dog meat. Like, it's just a very selective few people. It's okay in terms of like cultural relativity and all that kind of stuff. It's okay, maybe, like, okay, like if you go by principle, dogs are animals at the same time. What's the difference between a dog and a cow and a chicken and a pig and all that? So if you go that route, you can be, but it's just that human beings have more companionship and more like historical ties with like dogs. So like that kind of emotional sentiment just doesn't paint us well in a good way when we're like eating dogs and all that, right? So the government doesn't like how we're shown to the global society, and Korean people, as a matter of fact, just love having raising dogs as a companion and all that. So we're just getting rid of dog meat consumption entirely. So the government is actually inventing or like trying to provide a compensation plan for the dog farm owners that exist. So they've given them like a probation, like a what do you call it, extension period, for until like when they can shut down their dog farms, and they are under talks and negotiations on how they should compensate these dog farm owners because it was their business. So it's basically ripping off their like daily income and all that. But there is like a lot of backlash from the dog farm owners, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have like a lucrative business, but they're just like, oh, this is our time to shine, you know, like this is the time we can rip off the, no, I'm sorry, just get the most out of the government, since, you know, they're trying to shut down our businesses for no good reason. There's no legal or logical backdrop behind it. So yeah, I get their sentiment. So the tug of war is going on, but in consensus, like in general, nobody eats dogs in Korea. I have never eaten dog in my life. My mom has never. My dad has never. Maybe my grandma. I'm not sure about that. I've never actually asked her. But like among my friends, very, very few people have eaten dog before. So yes. Hey John, welcome. Hello, welcome to the chat. And hi from Sweden, Monica. I've had horse meat and it's not bad. If you go to Jeju Island, they sell horse meat. Yes. Let's see. Let's see. Here in Europe, people look at you with disgust when you say we used to eat horse meat. That was pretty common for a long time. Yeah, so these cultural shifts happen relatively according to time and eras and periods, right? Yes. It's like Americans think some tribes still live in teepees. Yeah. But, you know, you'll be surprised that as a Korean person, when I travel and people just don't have any kind of offensive manner, but they just like pop out some comments and talking about like dog stuff and like dog jokes and all that. And I don't get offended, of course. I'm not like a snowflake, but it's just like, bro, like we don't eat dogs. Just get it, okay? Hey, Dolly baby! Woo! Thank you so much stopping by to show you some love. I am loved. Thank you so much, Dolly baby. Pizza. For those of you who are new to the stream, this is how I celebrate. Pizza! Thank you so much, Dolly baby. I will put you up there for a while. Thank you so much. Make it rain, yes. Oh, wow, Mishka UK, thank you for your donation. And you are sending a donation for the thank you donation. 10 euros. Thank you so much for your super chat. Pizza, thank you so much. Dog farms in the 21st century, oh my god, yes. As I told you, they do exist, but they are now getting, they are in the process of getting cleaned up, yes. Okay. Hi, JJ. Hello, Evika. Hello, welcome. Didn't David just admit dog farms still exist? So how can he say we don't eat dogs? I don't know how you don't understand that, but dog farms still exist. The government is in the process of getting rid of it. So it's like in a limbo phase right now. And most of, I would say 97, don't quote me on this, but 97% of the whole population does not eat dogs. We don't sell them in marts. We have to go to specific marts, like local markets, to get your hands on dog meat. So, yeah, basically it doesn't exist. Yes. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So this one is actually a very educational one, and this one is one for the parents out there that have sent their beloved children to a war-torn country. So, Korea, number 4. Myth number 4. Korea is always on the brink of war with North Korea. Kim Jong-un is constantly sending nuclear missiles across our border, and what do you call it? ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles and all that. Yeah, actually that wouldn't make sense because it's domestic, so it's not intercontinental. Anyways, like all these bombs and all that. So that is one big huge myth, especially from Americans, I would say. Like in my experience with talking with Americans, I think because it's like CNN and a lot of like American media outlets spotlight Kim Jong-un and North Korea a lot, because this is statistical data. I do a lot of research because I have a Korean what do you call it, business, a Korean product business called Piroso. It's the banner over here, piroso.net. If you want authentic Korean products, you can go buy it over there. Check it out. But anyways, I do a lot of research when I'm writing blogs or researching Korean related content on what I should do. And there's a thing called like Google Trends. So I go on Google Trends and I always set it to like, oh, what's trending in the US about Korea, and always, without an exception, anything related to North Korea always ranks number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. It's not even about South Korea. If you just type in Korea, the Americans are obsessed with North Korea for some reason. I think, you know, the political leaders kind of like weaponize or utilize North Korea as like a common foe or like whatever, an exterior, enemy or whatever, a threat to their country. But aside all of that, a lot of people out there just believe that Korea is let me clarify, it is technically still under war. We are just having a ceasefire since the Korean War. We're still hostile towards each other. We still have mandatory military service. Each side's train and educate ourselves, saying that our prime essential enemy is North Korea and South Korea. Each of us, we have our own propaganda and our messages going off, blazing towards each other, that they'll rain fire on us and all that kind of stuff. We have the demilitarized zone, or we have the peace treaty and all that. We have like a 38th parallel in between. There are missiles and tanks stationed over there in occasions, in preparation for emergency occasions and stuff like that. We have training. However, a lot of people are just very, very, there's this like little barrier for a lot of people, like, oh, let me travel Asia, where should I go? Oh, let's maybe go to Japan, China, somewhere else. But when it gets to Korea, they're like, oh shit, isn't that the place where Kim Jong-un is like, always spreading his fingers and sending over missiles, sending over like dirt balloons and all that? No. We live in peace. It's a very, very advanced society over here. It's metropolis in Seoul, although we're very close from North Korea. Throughout my 20 years of life living in Korea, I have never actually felt extremely in danger or terrified of an actual North Korean attack. There was actually like maybe one time during the Yeonpyeongdo 해전. There's a Yeonpyeongdo 포격. There were a couple times that shit really got serious and things got escalated. But other than that, it's just like the common sentiment is like we just live our daily lives and we don't give an F about North Korea. They're always just like, they're basically like beggars towards us. Like they're just provoking us every single time, just wailing for rice and money. They're like, oh, give me money, give me rice, give me AIDS, humanitarian aids, or else I'll send missiles over your borders. And there are also conspiracy theories saying that political leaders have internal ties with North Korea. They probably have a hotline or something, and they use North Korea as like a common foe for elections and all that. And yeah, there are narratives like that. But anyways, bottom line, if you come to Seoul, you'll feel it, but everything's just under order. People don't care about North Korea at all. Yeah, like even in the military, of course we're on alert phase, but it's just not that serious. It's just not that serious. And foreign media just often sensationalizes these tensions a lot when there's not that much to it. Yeah, of course they're doing missile tests, but like Trump has already advocated North Korea as a nuclear power, a nuclear state. So I guess if the president of the United States is giving North Korea that credit, then what should we say, right? Okay, Dolly baby, thank you. What? for the 50 again. Oh my gosh. I love being on the big screen, the Jumbotron over here. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 50. Love you, love you. Wow, Dolly baby. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's read some chats. North Korea is now opening tourists from other countries, even Singapore? That is wild. That is wild. Well, growing up in Germany, our country was divided until the 90s of the last century. It was the same here during the Cold War. Really? So I don't know a thing about, like, I think this is a very good cross-examining example. So, like, I don't know a single thing about how it was during the 90s with West Germany and East Germany and all that. Like, the only thing I know was that there was a wall and all that. So yeah, like if I were to be born in the 90s and I didn't have any interest in Germany and I was about to plan a trip to Europe, then I would be like a little bit cautious about Germany. Like, aren't they like still under a war, or there's like a Cold War or something? Like, let me try to avoid it. But then, yeah, like a similar situation to Korea. Not a lot of people are actually that knowledgeable about Korea's just everyday life and status right now. So it's I think the K dramas and the soft power has kind of like eased that out, but it's a perfectly safe place to come to. You will not be threatened with missiles. You'll sometimes get these random emergency texts that North Korea is sending over balloons full of trash and all that, but other than that, no. I blame the old TV show MASH. Yes, I don't know about that show, but yeah. Even the Olympics committees cannot tell the two Koreas apart. Yes, that was a mistake during the Paris Olympics last time. Yeah. I don't think most people are obsessed about North Korea. It's just that that's all most people know about when they're then is the war and Kim Jong-un. Yes, Kim Jong-un is just such an iconic figure. I hate to admit, but like his haircut and his like just physique and like his appearance and all that, his style and like him walking through nukes and tanks, it's just like he's just a very noticeable figure, right? And a punchable kind of face. Yeah. So no wonder he's pretty famous, right? Are they still asking for aid? Not on the front line. They're always just like threatening us. And our current administration, the conservative side, is normally very hostile towards North Korea, and we're like, oh, we've tried giving you aid, but you always just don't distribute it to your people. But the regime over there just eats it up like a hog. So we stopped just giving out aid. Yeah. But speaking of North Korea, quite recently, they've actually made a scene in a global scale because they have a very... North Korea actually has the best set of hackers in the world. So because they are a closed country, they don't have a lot of income sources. They don't do a lot of trade. They only do it with a little bit with China and Russia, maybe some other communist countries. But other than that, like, they don't have a source of income, and their country is starving and all that. So what they thought was, let's make an internet army, a cyber army of hackers. And there's this group recently named as Lazarus, and they're this infamous cyber attack group, and they're known to be North Korean based. And this, like, last 2 weeks, I think they stole like a huge amount of money. It was like $2 trillion or something like that. A huge amount of money from of Ethereum from a cryptocurrency exchange, and that just made the market plummet like crazy. But yeah, North Korea pulled that out, and the cryptocurrency exchange actually put out a bounty to all the white hackers in the world, saying if you catch and confiscate any of our assets from Lazarus from North Korea, then we will give you like prize money and stuff like that. So there's like a cyber war going on, and they're actually very skillful in cyber warfare. So we got to be very careful on that. That's actually very alerting. Yes. Yeah. Because in theory, like, there's this movie, I don't remember what it is, but like if I doubt this is possible, but as a ignorant person about like cyber security and all that, like if you just think about it, it's terrifying because like all of our assets right now are digitized. It's just all just digital numbers in the bank. The bank doesn't even back our assets one to one. They don't even have cash enough to like provide to the public. That's why bank runs occur, right? So if North Korea or a heinous, just activist group were to like do a cyber attack upon like a financial organization like a central bank or something, and just like delete all the information or delete all the ledgers and all that, I don't know what would happen after that. It would be total mayhem, right? Yeah. Yes. Seoul is in artillery range. That is true. That is actually true. And if you think about it, it's actually crazy. But we just live in peace. Maybe we're just forgetting what's really important. Maybe we just have 안전 불감증. That's like a numbness of like security or stuff like that. But I'm just telling you the reality. Korea is not always on the brink of war with North Korea. Yes. Punchable kind of face is too real. Okay. Okay. Yes. So, we are on to number 5 of debunking myths of Korea. I'm getting a little hot here because of my heater. So, let's go on to number 5. So, a lie a lot of people talk about South Korea is that Korea is a super traditional conservative country. We are backed by Confucianism, and we have a word called 남녀 칠세 부동석. Men and women shouldn't be together in the same place after they hit the age of 7 and all that. And it's a patriarchal society which have like men roles and women roles and blah 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 blah. Well, I hate to say, like, I don't know if anybody wants that kind of environment nowadays, but I hate to break the reality for you. Like, nowadays, Korea is not that conservative in terms of, like, at least romantic relationships. Yes, younger generations are just changing the tides, like traditions, whatever, like hierarchy, gender roles, dating, marriage, all that kind of stuff. So conservative also includes like work culture as well too. Like everyone talks about like 회식s, and you got to go out to company meetings, you got to be like super very strict and very polite to your seniors and all that. Well, that is a little bit true. It's not to that extent. It's not like, I don't know why, but I can only think of like Japanese people because that's my stereotype. Maybe this is a stereotype I have. Like, see, I even have stereotypes about different cultures. Like, for me, when I think about Japanese companies, I always think of like suits, black suits, neckties, like briefcases. When they go to like the companies, they're always like bowing 90 degrees and being super, super, polite and all that. Some people might think the same about Korea. No, it's not like that. It's not that conservative anymore. Younger generations have pretty much changed the cultures. Even the older generations, like the team managers or like the representatives or the CEOs, now they're in like the people in their 50s and 60s or below. They don't want that treatment either. Some of them still have the konde mindset, but it's not that conservative, like to the level you think. So that's the common myth a lot of people have. So a lot of people are scared of working in Korean companies and all that. There might definitely be cultural differences. It's going to be more intense relative to Western companies. We do have like a social hierarchy. We value age, we value rank and position and all that. more than international cultures. So there's definitely going to be a difference. But in Korean terms, we are not that much of a conservative society. In terms of like progressiveness, okay, like if we're talking about LGBTQ and all that, I would say we're still very conservative in those senses. There's a lot of homophobia in Korea. Actually, I think that would be the predominant narrative. A lot of people are not acceptive towards yeah, LGBTQ plus communities and people. Same-sex marriage is not legal. There are some like recent court cases that are trying to shift the narratives, but yeah, in terms of feminism, there's a big feminism scene over here, and a lot of males actually agree to it, and like the proper feminism, okay, like and I would say like the word feminism is just twisted because like a lot of Korean people just equate feminism as radical feminism, and they just learned the terminology in a wrong way. That was the first time we got exposed to the word feminism, and now like feminism is the equivalent of radical feminism, where like women are like you need to chop off your balls, and like Korean guys only have like what do you call it, 6.9 centimeters of length of dicks, and you need to like go to massage parlors where men get shaved and take pictures of them and put them on the internet as revenge, all that kind of stuff. Those kind of narratives spinned around for a long time, and then it got into the wrong narrative. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is like you'll be very surprised if you look at married couples or how men treat women over here. It's not like oh, men is sky, women is ground. Actually, I would say men respect women a lot in Korea nowadays. Like, if you go to household chores, if you go to like marriage life, a lot of men actually live as the beta. Like, they actually do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of household chores, or like splitting the obligations, and being the breadwinner at the same time, taking care of the child and all that. They're very caring people, and they're just very respectful towards women. So I would say that a lot of Korean men are like just trained feminists in the inside, but they don't know about it. But the word feminism itself has just been adopted in a wrong way, so it has just that negative connotation that's just deeply rooted in Korea, that I don't think it can be eradicated. It's just gone too far. But anyways, in general, I just wanted to say, yeah, like in terms of conservatism and being super traditional, that's all just like kind of watered down. And if you go, as you might know, if you go to like Hongdae and all that, like you'll see wild stuff over there. The youngsters over there, they're just like, yeah, that is nothing near conservative or traditional. No, like in the old days when I was dating, like we could barely even hold our hands, and like, wow, kiss, oh my gosh, oh how promiscuous. We were like that. But nowadays it's just like, there's a word called chamanchu. You sleep before and you see your compatibility, drinking, and playing like skinship games and all that. So yeah, romantic relationships, they've been very, very like progressive nowadays too. So in a lot of areas, I would say Korea has become modernized or progressive. And there's not actually a lot of like these traditional conservative traits. Like even among like the traditional holidays we have, I would say those have been very much diluted as well. Like we don't really follow those very strict ceremonial things. Like we don't. Yeah, it's just been very like just focused on convenience and just all that. So yeah, anyways, yes, that was my fifth thing, the 4B King speaks. Okay, yes, let's see. Lots of people in Western societies are not particularly clued up about modern warfare. Okay, that was the talk about North Korea. Let's see. My traditional Native American family is like that. Back on the res, the older family members still talk how we younger ones are losing our way. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think there's a clash between the generations for sure. I heard Koreans were influenced by the Japanese hierarchical society during the colonization. Yeah, that's true too. A lot of things have been introduced and affected by the Japanese culture as well, like our education system, which is horrible. Yeah. Um, yes. Uh, 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 uh. Let's see. Nobody's listening to David anymore. Stuck on that 6.9. Oh, okay. Speaking of church, by the way. Okay. So this is speaking of conservative. I would say initially when Christianity entered Korea, Christianity is usually universally tied to being conservative, right? Even in U.S. terms. Christianity is pretty huge in Korea. We still have like a huge portion of Christians here and Catholics as well, and Buddhism. In terms of religion, though, the younger generation is still like they're exiting the chat. They're not into religion anymore, and that's like a very big threat to the church in Korea. So I actually go to church, and a lot of the pastors and community leaders are very, very concerned about the future of the nation, or like future of Christianity in Korea, or maybe some people might say future of their income offerings. But whatever it might be, the fact is that young people are leaving church and religion. They're leaning more towards practicality or like science or stuff like that. I don't really think science and all religion go, totally different with each other, but that is for a fact. So in those senses, I would say Korea is becoming less conservative as well in terms of religion. Yeah. Yes, okay. So we have already passed the half point of today's stream. I will be introducing 10 biggest lies about Korea. And right now, up to this point, we have more than 300 people tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm getting a little bit hungry, so please mind me just crunching on these little potato chips for a minute over here. Sour cream onion. Yes. What is considered romantic gestures in Korean dating? I don't know. I think, just doing the basics is very romantic. Like for instance, the day before was White Day. It's the equivalent of Valentine's Day, but the genders are reversed. Like the man gives the woman a chocolate or a candy. Yeah, like that. Those kind of days are seen as like basic activities as being a couple. So if you don't do it, it's okay. Like if your partner is a cool person, they'll just let it slide. But then they'll still have this lingering feel of a little bit of sonam, like a little bit of disappointment or a little bit of sadness in there. But if you just go to the convenience store, like young people like in their early 20s, they make like handmade candies and all these cookies and chocolates at their homes and with recipes and write letters and give them with like little necklaces and all that. They're over the top. I used to have a face like that too, but once you get old, it's just like the thought that matters. It's like the action that matters. Like it's like a marketing scheme. Nobody gives an F about that made up imaginary holiday, but it's just like if you want to express a romantic feeling or like a sense of love towards your partner, it's just that, I went to the convenience store, there's like these marketing packages for a white day over there, very overpriced. But then I used my money, my hard-earned money, out of my pocket and bought like a bunch of Ferrero Rochers or Pepero or whatever. And it's like cutely packaged, and just giving it to your partner. And it's not a big deal. It's not anything romantic, but then it just gives a little sense of satisfaction and intimacy, and the person appreciates it. And that's just, I guess it's like, among the love languages, it's like maybe gifting or something like that. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of women, from my experience, Korean women, they feel touched and loved when they are presented with these like little things. Like these common experiences I've had, it was like they don't want anything extravagant, or they don't want luxury bags or Louis Vuittons or anything. They don't want to go to like hokanses, like hotels, suites. It's more like, oh, he thought of me and he did this very appreciative and lovely act for me. He put out his little time and invested his money or whatever, his energy. It might be a little letter. So I've seen a lot of women say that they prefer a handwritten letter over like an expensive necklace or something like that. So that's what I feel like the general thing of like the concept of romance in Korea is. Maybe it's universal, but nowadays you never know, because like a lot of people love materialism. So it might have changed, but yeah. Mm-hmm. When there isn't a distinguish between being kind and being romantic, I can see one disincentivizing the other. Good to hear that most Korean women are not as materialistic as portrayed. I think it's... Okay, I'll be totally honest. I think there's different breeds. Yeah, I haven't statistically made any surveys or anything, but I feel like there are different breeds of women. I think this is universal around the world too. There will be the so-called gold diggers anywhere in the world. There are going to be a lot of materialistic women. There might be a bigger percentage of these kind of women in certain countries because of the prevailing culture and mindset, which might apply to Korea. But then I would like to see in the lens of like throughout my own experiences of normal people, not a lot of them were like that. Yeah. These extreme cases seem to be very spotlighted in internet communities, in gender conflicts, or the news and stuff like that. Yeah. Benedicta Gray Pizza, thank you so much for the NOK 119 emergency. Yes, they do. They just don't want to be accused of being gold diggers. I mean, who isn't though in this time and era? Yeah. You heard in Korea that they are called garden snakes. 꽃뱀. I think 꽃뱀 has a little bit of a different nuance. 꽃뱀s are people that make like operations. They have like secret missions exclusively to approach a certain person and to like suck out money from them. It's not like gold diggers. Okay, maybe it's similar, but I feel like gold diggers have a nuance of like, they just have a very materialistic mindset, and they're just like, whenever they have the chance when they're dating with that person, they try to like get something for themselves. But garden snakes are more like organized. They have like a whole operation plan. They're like, I'm gonna approach this person through this route. I'm gonna go to a golf course and like wear a mini skirt and whatever, approach that person and sexually arouse him and make him like sexually harass me, and then I'm gonna sue him and he's gonna give me this much money and I'm gonna film that on a CCTV. So that's like a little bit more tactical, I would say. Yeah. The different breed is referred to as pillow princess in states. Okay. Okay, so let's go on with the show. So, the next common myth about Korea. This one frustrates me a lot. Everyone in Korea gets plastic surgery. No. No. Do I have plastic surgery? No. Does my mom have plastic surgery? No. My dad? No. My grandma? No. My friends? No. Danny? No. Jin? No. Oh, Jin? Actually. My friend Leo? No. My friend Jay? No. My friend Sangyun? No. I'm just listing all my close friends. Like I can look in my Kakao chat right now. Let's see. Daniel, no. Sangwoo, no. Den, no. Hosung, no. Jongwon, no. Chan, no. Rachel, no. Anna, no. Tammy, no. Sue, no. Yeah, Jay, no. Kelsey, no. So, nobody around me has gotten plastic surgery. Where does everybody get this idea that I mean, okay, statistically, a lot of people get plastic surgery. Yes, that is true. But it's not like everybody is like a walking artificial piece of plastic over here. When I see these comments on like these internet posts, they're like, whenever they see a cute Korean girl or a handsome Korean guy, they're all like, "Oh, it's plastic anyways." Where does this jealousy? Why is this? Where is this jealousy coming from? I don't know why. Most of the people that have so the statistics are inflated, I think, because of double eyelid surgery, and that's like the most minimal level of surgery people get, mostly women, and nowadays I don't think they're even that popular, but a lot of people still get double eyelid surgery. It's like simply just putting a knife between your eyelids and creating a double eyelid like what I have right now. Yeah, so like in Korea, okay, like maybe this does represent a little bit of the reality here. Double eyelid surgery isn't even considered plastic surgery anymore. It's a minor plastic surgery, but like if you really want to talk plastic surgery, it's mostly like nose jobs, chin, V-shaped chin, whatever, and like putting what do you call it, like stuff in your forehead or whatever, boob jobs. No, I haven't seen that many people do plastic surgery around me. I just listed like 20 of my closest people in my chat, and I just noticed that none of them have gotten plastic surgery. Yeah, Subin didn't get plastic surgery. Nobody has. So yeah, it's just a very big myth. Of course, if you're looking in the entertainment field for like actors, celebrities, a lot of them, of course, get plastic surgery. They're in freaking entertainment, the showbiz. If they can enhance their looks, like why wouldn't they? I bet Hollywood stars do get plastic surgery. Isn't that the same in the world? Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of plastic surgeons here, and Korea is the center of plastic surgery in terms of medical techniques and advanced technology and all that. There's a lot of good plastic surgery hospitals. Yeah, but I do think plastic surgery is pretty normalized over here in terms of like just minor procedures like double eyelids, but anything above that, still people have a little bit of prejudice and a negative lens towards people who get like maybe boob jobs or like anything else. Yeah, so maybe internet streamers or some YouTubers might get them, or some people that work in the adult biz might get them. But other than that, I don't think, like Korean people are that crazy over plastic surgery. It's not like, oh, Ollie, London, like everybody's just gonna, mostly, as a matter of fact, if you go to Gangnam, most of the most of the consumers you will see are Chinese people. Yeah, there are Korean people, of course, but I haven't seen a lot of Korean people get like major surgeries. Yes, but then if you approach in statistics, there is a lot of there are a lot of Koreans getting plastic surgeries. I personally think it's inflated because of the double eyelid surgery and minor procedures that count all in the plastic surgery field. But for the mass big operations, yeah. So if you want to nitpick and say technically they all do get plastic surgery, then okay, you're right, whatever you say. But in my lens or a Korean lens, I wouldn't say, like, at least people aren't that crazy over it. They're more focused. I would say, okay, they're more focused on skincare and makeup and very like non-surgical procedures rather than actual plastic surgery. So people are obsessed with skincare and makeup. Yes, that is a fact. Like, yeah, I've never seen a Korean woman not care about their skin and makeup. That's actually very true. Even men as well. A lot of people have like skincare routines and all that, but actual plastic surgery, I don't think so. Yeah. The Bard, hello. Thank you for the 269 Swedish kronas. Have heard anything after your interview? Which interview are you referring to? The recent interview I've had is the Guinness World Records? No, not yet. Not yet. Have I failed? I'm expecting something soon. Yeah, but I'm pretty confident in it. If I don't get it, whatever. Yeah, I'm trying nowadays not to spread my things out so thin. So let it be. If I get it, I get it. Good. If I don't, then it's a better opportunity for me to focus on my core essence. Yeah. Okay. Anna, maybe? Nah, she didn't get plastic surgery. Yeah, I know that for a fact. What about Botox? Yeah, a lot of people count Botox as plastic surgery as well. But then, like, technically, if you Google Botox up, like, not a lot of people consider Botox as plastic surgery at the same time. Yeah. Because it has some of the best plastic doctors, and it's very affordable. That's very true. It's very safe as well. But I assure you, if you just come to Korea and you just walk around, look at the faces of people, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If these folks walking around, no offense to them, if like more than, like what the statistics say, more than half of them or whatever got plastic surgery and they still look like that, I'm sorry, but your money went to waste. Am I being too harsh over here? Yeah. Okay. So according to YM, it says in 2023, more than 60% of plastic surgeon sales came from overseas customers. That's a statistic. Yeah. It's not jealousy, it's Koreans that say this stuff. I don't think so. I don't really think so. I have never seen a lot of Koreans actually going against each other and saying, like, you're so plastic or something. We say it to celebrities sometimes. We say it to celebrities. K-pop stars. Yeah. But that's the same level of jealousy. Like, that's the evil human mindset. Like, oh, I want that celebrity to fail and fall down and ruin her whole career and all that. So I'm not gonna recognize her beauty because it's fake. In my own personal mindset, it's like, who gives an F? If you're pretty, if you look natural, and you're praised by some other people, like, yeah, like, if you're healthy and all that, if your face isn't like dismantling, it's like all drooling like the Substance. If it's not that level, Substance is a wonderful movie, by the way. But if it's not to that level, like, who gives an F? Why? Who are you to be like jealous and putting out hate comments to that person? Like, if you, I don't understand. Yeah, people literally fly to Korea just for plastic surgery. Yes, medical tourism is really big here. Okay, let's speed up a little bit. So, the next myth we have, number 7, is Koreans hate Japanese people. So, yes, Japan colonized Korea. We have a historical past. a colonial past. There were war crimes. They did horrible things to us, and the Western world doesn't even know about these crazy war crimes. I would say they are on par to the Holocaust and stuff. Yes, this is not an exaggeration. If you actually dig up to what the Japanese people did, they did they actually we had gas chambers, we had human experiments. They want the reason. Oh, okay, don't quote me on this again. I'll get hate for a lot of Japanese people, but the reason Japan is very progressed in medicine and all that, they had a lot of human specimen. Yes, that is at least what my ancestors and a lot of Korean people say. So they did very horrible things, a lot of torture, lots of torture. Our independent activists, they died in chambers and all that. There was the comfort woman, just plain old shooting and killing people and enslaving people, stealing all of their livelihoods, ripping off our culture. Even they didn't even let us use our own names in our own language. So it's not just physical torture, physical pain, human experiments, gas chambers, all that. It's just culturally just eradicating our roots and all that. So horrible things. They claim our land, Tokto is theirs and all that, but blah blah. Leave that aside. So I do get, if you are educated about like history between Japan and Korea, the logical outcome would be like, oh, Korean people must just hate and loathe Japanese people. Very false. And I don't know why, but a lot of Korean people just love Japanese people and its culture and the country itself. As a matter of fact, last year I saw multiple reports that Japan was the most visited country from Korean tourists. More than 9 million people visited Japan last year. That is crazy. And Japan, towns like Osaka, Okinawa, and certain places in Japan, they live off of Korean tourists. And Korean people are crazy over just Japanese anime. I mean, that's universal. Japanese music, like food. We have so many Japanese cuisines over here. We have all sorts, like all the Japanese ramen, the tendons, like the ochazukes, like the sushis, omakazes, everything. We just love Japanese culture, and it's like, you know, we separate the historical past with the personal realms. Like, it's not like, okay, like of course the country has done horrible stuff to our country, and we must not forget it. We don't want to like swipe it under the rug or anything, but it's like the individuals that are growing up in Japan right now, they had nothing to do with the war, right? These are just nice people. So, and the country is beautiful itself, and it's quite ironic. So there are extreme nationalists within our country that say like still we should kind of boycott consumption towards like Japanese culture or products. So there is some kind of movement. Maybe that's why nobody really drives like Japanese cars in Korea. You won't find that much of Toyotas or Suzukis or Mitsubishis or whatever in Korea. So there is always that underlying sentiment, but on the mass, like Koreans love Japan. They just love Japan, and who can't? I mean, who can deny that Japan is just an amazing country? Like its tourism, its cultural heritage, the richness of it, the food, everything is just top notch. I just have to admit that too. I'm a huge Japanese fan as well. I go to Japan every single year. Yeah. So Koreans don't really hate Japanese people, but we hate them deep down in historical contexts. Yes. In political and Yeah, those kind of ways. So it's a very complex feeling. It's just hard to actually process myself as well. Uh, I do think any Korean person that is visiting Japan or consuming some kind of Japanese culture or product has at least like 1% of that little conscience inside him or her poking him like, oh, I know this is kind of like not good, but then it's so good. you know yeah, yeah, so it's just very very hard for Korean people. But as I told you, Koreans don't hate Japanese people, at least. Yeah, we don't hate Japanese people. But about China, then that's a different story. That is a very different story. Yes. Yeah, it's generational trauma. Yes, it's in the history. Gyeongsang creature. Well, while that is fantasy, it does depict some atrocities of Japan. Yeah, it does depict some of the history. There's a lot of torture and a lot of human experiments and all that. So go check it out. Yeah. How can we believe Koreans don't hate Japanese after you said those? I know, it's very hard. So I don't know. Like, educate me as well. Do modern I don't know. Do modern Jewish people hate Germans nowadays? It's a very sensitive topic, but I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's something like that. I appreciate you clarifying this. No probs. It's about the Japanese government, not about Japanese people. Yes. Yes. The highest tourism in Japan is from Korea. Indeed, as I told you. I see a lot of Korean-Japan relationships here too. Yes, a lot of Korean men want to marry Japanese women and date Japanese women, and vice versa. Yeah. Yeah, there was a no Japan movement in 2019. Yes. Yes, and still, even my friend, he's considering buying a Toyota right now, a Camry, but was it a Camry? But he still has that like conflicting mindset. Like he knows it's such a good car, but then like, what's the image he's going to get after buying that car? Yeah, so when you buy like a Lexus in Korea, you really get frowned upon to some sort of people. Like they're like, why would you buy a Lexus out of all those luxury cars? There's like BMWs, Audis, and Mercedes, and we even have Genesis, and there's like Teslas, and all those different options. And why do you have to go out of your way to buy a Lexus specifically? Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Elam. Your thumbnail is crazy today. Thank you, Chammer. Like Indians don't hate Britishers, but we should. Yeah, kind of. Maybe that's like a similar comparison. Yeah. What's wrong with the Lexus? Or we're talking about like whether Korean people hate Japanese people or not. So. In the meantime, everybody, don't forget to like the video. I need some extra carbs and calories before I proceed. It's been 1.5 hours, so I promise to finish this within the next 20 minutes. I want to go home too. Alem. Okay. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. We still have 3 more on the list. So another lie. Another lie you've been told from the dramas and the internet is that all Koreans are workaholics that live at the office. I am one, but it's my choice. The stereotype of Korea being overworked is partially true, but as I told you, the newer generation doesn't take that BS. They're not up for it. They're like, no, I'm going home at 5:59 p.m. You can't stop me. It's by law, I have the permission to do that. I do not want to go to 회식s. That's overtime. I have no obligation to do that. So leave me out. That's actually kind of the mentality that's spreading. And the bosses don't want to get filed for workplace harassment or abuse or anything like that. So they keep away from those. So it's like voluntary now. So not all people are workaholic. A lot of people, there's this term called warabear in Korea. It's a very big term, and a lot of people set their values when they choose their jobs as warabear. It's their big priority. Warabear is work-life balance, and I've seen a lot of my friends choose voluntarily lower salary jobs because of that value of warabear. They choose like government jobs or just more easier jobs or just, low stress jobs because they value going home, spending with family, spending alone time, just chilling with Netflix, doing sports, eating good stuff, and just chilling. They're spending their life not being stuck at work until like 10 p.m. So I feel like that sentiment has grown more and more nowadays. But I think the balance is like swaying back and forth because there was a big boom of warabear pursuits for the past few years. But then I think maybe after COVID, or I don't know, I can't pinpoint when the economy just tanked so hard and the inflation got so crazy out of control. Maybe it was because of COVID, like because the US government printed so much money. I don't know. But yeah, ever since like the economy got so hard, nowadays I think it's like a even amount of like hustle culture and work-life balance culture. It's like I just give up. Like this side is like I just give up. I don't care if I make minimum wage. I can't save that much. I'm just gonna live my life. I prefer just living with my family and spending time with them. Versus, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna starve to death in this economy. For me to survive and to save up for my future, I need to hustle right now. I need to get extra jobs, side gigs, start a business, jump and hop on to other businesses and boost my salary, work extra time, all that. Work at the office, try to get like what do you call it? 성과급. It's result driven extra salary, something like that. So yeah, nowadays I think it's even, but then what I want to say is that we're not like everyone is not like a workaholic zombie that's trapped at work until like 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. And I've seen the most misleading posts on TikTok before. They just randomly film a video of like Gangnam skyscrapers or Yeouido skyscrapers or Chong skyscrapers and those buildings, the office buildings, and see, look how workaholic the Koreans are. Every single building is lit up. They're just lit up because either there's 1 or 2 employees in that building, or it's like the government's policy to light them up until like a certain time because of the nightscape and stuff. So don't think that all of them are swarming with workers that are like doing overtime until like 10 p.m. Okay, there are multiple different scenarios why the lights are up like that. I do admit that we have a hard working mentality and we have the grind and we want to excel. That's in our DNA, that's in our history. But nowadays, I'm telling you, like, people just want to go home and chill. They want to do the bare minimum. And a lot of people have just given up. They don't see a mission and passion in work. And there's actually a 52-hour work week law getting into effect. So yeah, by law, there are like loopholes, but by law, you're technically not allowed to work more than 52 hours. If you do, then there's overtime, or there's other, policies. But yeah, we're not zombies. So I'm an exception. I'm working at 3 a.m. right now. But I enjoy this. I enjoy talking to you. This doesn't even seem like work to me. But it's technically work to me. Yes. I'm like a chipmunk that, saved having 5 jobs. I'm like, yeah, I need to stack up as much as I can, or else I'm not going to be able to survive in this cold society. So I'm a different kind of person. Yeah. It's not snowing here. Yes. It's snowing tomorrow. David is a masochist. Maybe I am. Yes. It's great to have money, but what's the point if you have no family or friend? Exactly. Yes. Does this new mindset include choosing to take a lower salary and rather work outside of Seoul? I don't know about the outside of Seoul part. I think that is not a matter of choice. It's because most of the jobs are just all focused in Seoul. So I had a very eye-opening conversation with my friend that lives in Busan. He has a very good job in Busan. He lives in the Busan gas, what do you call it? Busan City Gas Organization or whatever. He controls like the gas things for heating and all that for Busan City. But anyways, he goes to a tennis circle, a club. And there are a lot of youngsters there. They're looking for, partners and all that. They're just all, enjoying tennis all together. But he said that most of them, we're talking about Busan here. It's the second biggest city of Korea, right? So 50% of the 20 to 30s in the tennis club is, they're composed of government workers. So it's a governmental job that 50% of those people are working at in Busan. And the next 30% is, what do you call it? Professional jobs. It's like either you're a lawyer or doctor or a dentist or a mechanic or something like that. You have like a certain license, you have a certain profession, and you can just set up shop anywhere, or you're needed by the court or whatever, something like that. So you can make your own business work. It's either those two, and the next 10% is like self-owned businesses. Like you have a restaurant, you have a store or something like that, and the last 10% is a actual corporate job, a private corporate job. That just indicates the structure of rural, or not rural, but like countryside or out of Seoul job structures. So either it's government jobs or you're a professional person. And note that like the quantity of professionals are going to be very low, and government jobs are going to be very low too, because you have a cap for those. But like the actual big cap of job numbers come from private entities, right? So that means there's like such a shortage of jobs in other cities, and that's why these other cities are falling down, and the demographics are getting more older and older. Younger people are just all migrating to Seoul, and it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. And nobody wants to go to the countryside. So I don't think it's voluntary that someone would go to the countryside for in search for a job over there. You could be a farmer. You could just like work in agriculture, but other than that, I would see less opportunities, unless it's like a government related job. You work in the power plant or a gas plant, a fuel plant, or something like that. Yeah. Let's see. Just a tea, please. Thank you. I enjoy listening to you. I appreciate that. Snail, thank you for the $4 donation. Pizza without any words. Such a chill guy or chill gal. Thank you so much. What about this Korean students? Did the hustle culture change the importance of the entrance exam? It hasn't changed, unfortunately, yet. I still think the craze over entering college is still there. It's still very real. Yeah. Yes. Why is there so much competition to get jobs in Korea? Is it because there are less jobs? I do not have as much data and expertise to answer this, but to give you my educated guess is that I've seen an article yesterday, just today or yesterday, saying that the number of unemployed 20 to 30s have peaked right now. It's exceeding like a certain number that's like a lot. And what that indicates is that it's either two things. These young people don't want blue collar jobs, or they don't want to commit to a job for a long time. So they just choose to be unemployed. I did actually see that from an article. So they want like desk jobs, like, office jobs. And those office jobs, there's like a cap for that. There's only so much office jobs out there. Yeah, so that's one reason. And also the competition is very fierce to get into especially taegi-ups, like the big companies, Samsung, SK, LG, all that. So everybody's just aiming for the top of the top. And if they don't get into that, if they're not satisfied with their salary, they don't either get jobs or they live off of unemployment funds and all that. But yeah, that's what I heard. And also, I heard that there are a couple of jobs in like small, medium-sized businesses, but nobody wants to work there because it's not good for your reputation, your career, the salary or welfare or anything. So yeah, there might be multiple aspects of it, but I'm just quoting this just recent article I've seen, just one single dimension of the whole picture. Do you feel the aging of Busan? Yes. I go there. There's literally no young people. Only at tourist spots like Hwangari, and those are all people from Seoul or other places. Yeah. Okay, on to the next one. Another lie that everyone tells you about Korea is everyone eats kimchi at every meal. So kimchi is definitely a staple side dish. We love kimchi. We're the kimchi nation, right? But it's not required for every meal, okay? Our meals are very just diversified nowadays. In retrospect, if I kind of date back into what I ate for the past week, just today I had Vietnamese, I had Mexican, I had pasta the other day, I had Japanese sushi, I had sundubu, that's Korean. None of those meals I had kimchi. It's only when you eat Korean food or you eat indoor, like at your house, there's like kimchi ready for you. And even among the young people, it's just very hard to actually have kimchi because kimchi usually requires like kimjang, and you have to like prepare all the cabbages and do it yourself. Traditionally, nowadays they sell little packets in bibigo kimchi or 종갓집 kimchi, whatever, but those are also luxuries. So for people like me, I'm like, why would I spend an extra $20 over a packet of kimchi? Like, I don't need it, So yeah, it's only like when you go to like Korean dish restaurants, you will get kimchi even at like Western places if you ask for it, or like if it's like matched well. But it's easy to find kimchi, but people don't go crazy over kimchi. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna die. I need my daily dose of kimchi. Yeah, I don't think I had kimchi for the last 3 days or something. Yeah, I'm kind of an out of the box case, but I never had kimchi until I was like in the military because I didn't like it. I won't say never, but I didn't like kimchi. But I grew fond of kimchi when in the military because I had to survive off the portions. Yeah. So I even to this day I only eat kimchi with meat. Like I pair it with meat, and that's the only occasion I will eat kimchi. Just by itself, I don't eat it. Yeah. So just many younger Koreans are looking into a variety of foods. A lot of them eat salads. A lot of them eat like very westernized dishes. Like I love fast food. I had Mom's Touch the other day. I had McDonald's the other day. I had Loteria the other day. I had like the culinary class war collaboration sets at Mom's Touch. They have the who is that guy? Andrew Lee. Yeah, they have the Andrew Lee burger. Is he Andrew? And in Loteria they have the Napoli Mafia burger. In McDonald's they have the new Tumba pasta chicken burger or something. So I had to try all the new stuff over there. So yeah, we're not crazy over kimchi. Yeah, not everyone eats kimchi every single meal. So that idea is wrong. But weirdly enough, if you go overseas, I think there is a thing like this. Even for me, if you go overseas, like when I go to the States or Europe or whatever, if I don't get my weekly portion of kimchi, then it's like you get like these allergy effects. You're like, oh, my body is craving some kimchi or like some rice or Korean food, anything. I think it just extends to the Korean category, but normally it's like extended to kimchi. It includes kimchi. So whenever I go to the States, I love, just from the airport, I step foot and then like in and out all the way, like go eat in and out and then, go to like, I don't know, freaking IHOP and other places and have Mexican tacos and quesadillas and all that. I'm loving it. I'm having the steaks and blah, 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 blah. And then after 3 days, I'm like, oh, I need some Korean food. I need some kimchi. I need some shinramen. Yeah, that's how it works for me. Yeah, like as YM says, if you go to Japanese cuisine in Seoul, in Korea, there is kimchi. If you go to like an Italian restaurant, you will get kimchi on the side. You can choose it. But not all people like need it. It's not a prerequisite or anything. You did have that stereotype that Koreans must have kimchi all the time. See? I'm telling you, I'm debunking all of these. You worked with a good amount of Korean people. I feel like they are reserved in nature. Oh. Sometimes, yeah. I think my Korean stereotype is Koreans eat everything spicy. There's a chance that our food is pretty spicy. Yeah. I love kimchi soup. I don't like kimchi soup. I've never deliberately ate kimchi jjigae in my entire life. I don't understand what the appeal of kimchi jjigae is. Yeah. I heard the export of K-food has gone up. Even Costco in the UK sells BBQ products. That's true. That's true. Our news is hitting it every single day. It's like, oh, K-food is hitting its all-time high right now in exports in the US and Europe and blah, 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 blah. There's no way we think that about kimchi. Well, you just saw someone there with a stereotype about it. Yeah. Did kimchi originate from Korea, Japan, or China? Uh-oh, let's not get into that. It's from Korea. It's from Korea. China can claim their own pai chai. Okay, on to the last one. On to the last one. So, this one is kind of tricky. So, a lot of people think either Korea is super cheap or Korea is super expensive. And that itself shows the discrepancy itself, right? So, I think it's because of this. Assets in Seoul, in particular, are super expensive. They are on par with Tokyo, London, New York, LA, Paris, and such. We're talking about houses, we're talking about property, land, stuff like that. They're super, super hard to achieve, super expensive. But the living costs in general, like, just food, eating out, clothes, other necessities, those are pretty cheap. Like transportation costs, it's like $1, 1.5, something like that. Taxi fares, it's very expensive to me, but like in other country terms, like the minimum fare right now is a $4. If you go across Seoul, the end of Seoul to the other end of Seoul, it's probably going to cost you only like $20, something like that. So it's relatively pretty cheap, I would say, in terms of like living cost. So I don't know why, but like there are certain things that are super expensive, like education costs, like going to private academies. But then college tuition isn't that expensive. It's like, just medium compared to American standards. So things are just very disproportionate. And certain things are very cheap. Certain things are very expensive. Like you have rent, for example. Rent is also pretty expensive too. I would say that the rent itself is on the expensive side, but okay, it's reasonable. But then the problem gets into like the key money, the 전세금 or the 보증금. If you talk about the deposit or the key money, that's when it gets super expensive. So if you want to live in like a very decent, nice, modern office tow or one room studio room, you'll probably pay like an average of let's say in like a nice area, like a Gangnam or Hongdae area, a nice well furnished office tow studio apartment would be, I would say, like 150만 원, 160만 원. So that would be like $1,000 with today's currency, $1,000 to $1,200 per month. That's pretty reasonable price, right? But then the tricky part is like the key money. It's called the 보증금, the deposit. You would at least have to give. It would differ really. It would differ a lot, but I would say up to like starting from 5천만, maybe like 3천만 원. That's like $30,000 to up to even like into the 100K levels and above. It really depends. But for instance, my studio right here, it has a key money of $20,000, and the monthly rent is $1,000, like $800 over here. So yeah, you get it, right? Like some things are cheap, some things are expensive. You don't know which rhythm to play on. So Seoul is just very tricky. So if you're just living here, if you're coming here as a tourist, it's gonna feel very affordable and cheap. The hotel prices, I would say, are reasonable. Okay, they are reasonable if you go to the right places. If you're not going to the 5 stars, then it's gonna be pretty okay, like $100 per night, something like that. But then, like, if you go into like actual housing, apartments, land, and education, private education, stuff like that, then that's where it gets super, super expensive. Yeah. And then if you go to like soju, then it's like, wow, so cheap. Housing is expensive, lifestyle can be cheap. Very good summary. real estate bubble in Korea is insane. I really think it should pop. Yeah. And it's going to pop soon. Nothing goes up infinitely. Yeah. Infinitely. I know fruits are expensive. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. I never knew this until the foreigners pointed it out. Because I don't really buy fruits in the first place. It's like a complimentary dish for me when I go to like buffets or something. But yeah, I never knew about this. I think meat and fresh produce are high, everything else is cheap. I would say meat is on the pricier side, yeah. Wow, when I go to America and see that meat at like Costco and all those places, wow. Like, wow. In terms of entertainment and culture, I would say it's reasonable too. It's on the cheaper side. Yeah, affordable side. There are actually a lot of like free activities you can do. Like going to museums, going to parks, going to like government events. Yeah, there are a lot of cultural spaces. If you go to like theaters, it might be a little expensive. Per ticket's like $17 nowadays. I love learning about other countries and cultures. Very interesting. Thank you, Blossoming. What percentage of your income do you spend on rent? Americans spend about 50%. For me, well, it's tricky for me because I live in Jeonse. That's like a Korean specific way of renting. We give like a massive amount of key money, and the house owner gets that and puts it into a bank and gets interest from that. And then I get all of that back, 100% back when the lease expires. So for me, it's like I'm not burning money. But if you think of inflation and cost opportunity, you're actually losing it. But in a sense, I feel like Jeonse is like a good policy to save money. But there are risks because there have been so many Jeonse frauds nowadays. Like a lot of people just run with the Jeonse money and just gamble with it or whatever. So yeah. A lot of Korean people in their vlogs say Korea is adapting to a lot of American culture. Is it true? Yes, a lot. Very, very true. Very American. So Jeonse, I don't want to reveal too much, but the current house I'm living in, the Jeonse, the key money I give to the house owner is approximately like in USD, like 500K. It's 500K, and I don't pay anything extra except for like the electricity and like gas and whatever fees. That's like probably $150 per month. But other than that, I don't pay rent. I don't pay anything. And the owner just receives that 500K, puts it into the bank, gets interest rate, and that's like the monthly rent equivalent for the house owner. So it's a win-win situation. Yeah. So usually a lot of young people that don't have that amount of money for Jeonse get a loan from the bank. So they offset it, like, so they do calculations whether it's advantageous for them to actually pay rent per month or there are a lot of policies for young people where the government backs like loans for younger people. So if I were to borrow like 200K from the bank would give it to me at like a 2% interest or something. So what's the 2% interest from 200K? It's like 1% is I can't calculate. I'm so bad at math. 2% of 200K is like 4K, right? Yeah, 4K, right? Ow! Ow. You can borrow 2K, 200K. Usually the contracts are 2 years. So I've been living in this house for like 2 years under that 500K key money, and then after it expires, I get that entirely back. With what collateral? Usually you have to provide evidence of having a stable job, and you have your own money, your own assets. So they see your financials. So those kind of things, and then the government gives you like a massive buffer because like you're a young person that can't acquire that amount of money. So. So my friend, this is a very extreme case, but my friend is a engineer at SK Hynix. It's one of the best jobs in Korea, highly paid ones. And they have like local banks in. He lives in Chongju. That's where SK Hynix factory is located. So when he was like a freshman. He was like an entry-level engineer in SK Hynix. He moved to Chongju, and they have local banks, right? So these local banks, they know that these SK Hynix people get a lot of salary, and they're making a lot of money. So they have special interest rate prices for these people with the SK Hynix jobs. So what he actually did, is he went to the local bank. He flashed his SK Hynix employee card, and then they gave him a very low interest rate loan of like 300K, and he got that. So let's say the loan was like 2 point something percent or 3% or something. He got that 300K. He put it all into S&P 500, because S&P 500 historically for 100 years it has always gotten like at least a 10 to 15% in average earn per year. So he put that in S&P 500. So he got like an 8%, what do you call it? Benefit out of the 300K loan for free, just because he was an SK Hynix worker. Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, damn, having that big corporate label does matter sometimes. But then he's going against the risk that he might even lose that money. So it's actually very risky. But then if you're investing in an asset like the S&P 500 index fund, then yeah. But anyways, yes, that was the content for today. So for the weekend streams, I intend to do more of these interesting talks about Korea. Today we were talking about what people get wrong about Korea, the myths and realities of Korea. Hope it was interesting, guys. It's 3:30 in the morning. I should really get going home, get some sleep for the new Monday. in the new week to happen. And before we go on, I just want to do a quick shout out for everyone who has stayed until now. Sue House Official. If you're interested in Korea and language exchange, cultural exchange, Sue House is the best community for foreigners. You don't have to be physically in Korea. You can download the app and chat with the people on the app. You can exchange Korean culture, topics, and all that. But if you go to their Instagram page over here at Sue House Official, you have a lot of posts about new updates on what kind of events are happening. They have they make oranda together at these classes, and they go to BTS members Suga and V's hometowns, Daegu, and all these tourist places all together. And these restaurants, best K-food, full course, all that. And learning K-drama lines from an actor from Squid Game. Networking events. Foreigner Korean painting event, pairing events. Korean classes, all these kind of things. The hottest events in Korea. So go check out Sue House. If you go to landing.suehouse.app, you can see the introduction to the Sue House app and download it on App Store or Google Play. The only app you need to meet new people. Let me check if it works on Google Play. There you go. Yes, it has 10K plus downloads, 5-star reviews only. There we go. Yes, do check out Sue House, everybody. And I briefly mentioned it within the stream, but I do own a business called Piroso. It's an online store where we focus on unique, authentic Korean products you can't get on Amazon or anywhere else. These are from local small businesses and authentic artisans and craftsmen and all that. We have a wide variety of products from, bowls, vases, accessories, bags, pins, hairpins, fabric posters, dishes and hoodies. So this is our hoodie we designed specifically in the Korean theme with our national flower, the Rose of Sharon. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Mugunghwa and all that. We have the Korean Army t-shirt and the Jungkook BTS bucket hats, the Mother of Pearl diaries, all that kind of stuff. Yes. And very, very interesting interior objects. Hanboks, modern hanboks, bracelets, earrings, and jewelry. We have Hanji Korean paper plants over here that can make your home very, very interesting. We have handmade soap from Busan. We have all these kind of stuff. We have Korean tea as well from Gohung, Suncheon, Hwasun, Jeju, all that. We have Mother of Pearl stickers for your phone cases, your iPads, tablets, animal character pins, zodiac notebooks, postcards, page holders, Galaxy Z Flip folder cases, and Korean books from the Nobel Prize winner, Hangang, and Korean books from Sue House as well. So go check this out on Piroso. If you're new, if you use the coupon code KPC, you will get an automatic discount. Special coupon for you guys. Check out our blogs. I just wrote a new blog today about the recent drama When Life Gives You Tangerines with Park Bo-gum and IU. So Jeju is a very popular spot for tourism. So the power of K-drama and tourism. Go check this out as well. I heard this drama is actually pretty good. So check it out at piroso.net, biroso.net. And yes, thank you everybody for tuning in to today's KPC Live. It was great to talk with you about Mythbusters, about Korea. And thanks everyone for the super chats. And let me see if I got any PayPals. I don't want to miss. If I got any. Let's see. I'll be... Oh, wow, just got one right now. See, oh, $30. Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you so much being you and putting a smile on my face today. You put a smile on my face. Yes, thank you so much. Pizza. Let's see. Yes, thank you so much, Tammy, for the PayPal. Appreciate everybody. And if you want to check out more exclusive content, if you want to check out my personal life or extra podcast content for the week and K-pop reactions, go to patreon.com/koreanpizzaclub and you can get more entertaining content about Korea, in-depth content about Korea. So the most recent one over here I covered was about Trump. Korea unfairly benefits from the U.S., said Trump. Korea designated as a sensitive country in the energy sector. Issues with female weathercasters in Korea. Inheritance tax overhaul planned. Fear and anxiety over marriage parenthood rising. Opposition party of Korea getting death threats and all that kind of stuff. So that was the recent podcast stream. Go check it out. Only for the price of a cup of coffee. So yes, please support me over there, and I will call it a day for today. Yes. So leave your thoughts in the comments below if you believe in these myths or not, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. Bye everybody. Bye. Ciao. Adios. Good night. 안녕히 가세요. 안녕.